Great morning. Welcome to the 8th edition of the Cisco Morning Huddle with Head Coach Brent West and Dean Lewis. We're live here at First Financial Bank on Conrad Hilton in beautiful Cisco, Texas. Thanks for joining in this morning and listen. If you're close by, jump on in. Thank you. Refreshments here for you. Say hello. Be sure to thank all the folks here at First Financial Bank for sponsoring this weekly edition of the Cisco Morning Huddle. This past Friday night, the Cisco Lobos hosted the Coleman Blue Cats in the key district contest in Chesley Field, and they came away with a big 47-7 win to keep their season and district record unblemished. Coach West, welcome to the show. Congratulations on another big win for your team. Have to ask, we always start out asking how you guys as a coaching staff felt about the game. So what was the consensus Friday night with Coleman?
Well, defensively, I thought we played just almost perfect for about 3 quarters. Maybe the best defense we've played in a district ball game since the Boyd game in 2007. I felt like we were extremely physical. Our secondary did a great job in coverage. Our D-line got to the quarterback without having to send extra pressure. We got pressure with 4 people. I thought McBride did another outstanding job getting to the quarterback, even sometimes the being double teamed, we were still able to get there. I just felt like it was very impressive defensively. And we know Coleman had a few injuries coming into the game, but still they had enough speed that it scared us, and I felt like we contained the speed. We prevented the big play defensively. Offensively, we were fairly pleased. I thought the weather had a little bit of something to do with just a few drives looking a little shabby. I didn't feel like we threw the ball quite as well as we have been. And some of that was due to the wind and the weather. We still attempted to improve our passing game in the first half. And I felt like we were a little splotchy in that area, but still overall very pleased.
Well, the wind certainly came in with a bang Friday night. You could tell it was affecting the kicking game, and it was definitely affecting the passing game as well. So just things that what do you do, I guess, to try to simulate that? I mean, you just really don't have the opportunity to do that.
No, and we needed to see that. Obviously we run into a playoff game in the future, and those folks up in the Panhandle, they see that way more often than the Lobos do, and they get used to it. They're accustomed to it. We definitely get some wind at times, but we don't have sometimes that cold environment that the Panhandle teams are running into on a daily basis in November. So it was good for us. I thought we got a little bit of that behind our back, and I did feel like we got better as we got used to it.
A lot of people seem to think or felt like that game was the biggest district game for sure to this point in the season. Do you guys still have the same impression about the Blue Cats after you had time to watch the film?
Well, they're all big games. Districts they're always going to be tough, and you always worry about it. It's just, but Coleman was probably the fastest team in our district, and I'll still say that. However, I don't think they're the biggest and the most physical team that we'll face. That may be Hamilton tonight. I feel like they're pretty darn big and physical. But Coleman came in with some major injuries that happened the week prior, and I felt like that affected their mindset on top of having to play in Cisco. And I don't think we saw the best Coleman team that they've produced all year long.
You still feel like they might be the team that gets out second in our district?
I think they have a great opportunity. They can't have any more injuries, or that may not happen for them. They've got to remain healthy, and they have run out of depth in lots of key areas. So they've got to stay healthy. If they do, that will happen, I believe.
Okay. The injury bug reared its ugly head again this past Friday night. Although it didn't look too bad, still something to be aware of. How are Dustin and Vernon doing this week, and is there any other news on the injury front?
Well, Vernon practiced every day, and both sides of the ball. In fact, I was going to limit him and not let him take too many offensive reps and just play defense, but he jumped in there and looked pretty good. I think he will play most of the game tonight, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. McBride tweaked his ankle, turned his ankle pretty good. Didn't practice on Monday, but practiced the rest of the week, and that's something that he's probably gonna tweak it again tonight. Those turned ankles are just that way. It's not a major injury, but it is an injury that could plague him now for a few weeks. It's plagued, Oscar Rodriguez now for 4 with an ankle sprain, and it's just something you deal with. And I know that he's tough enough to deal with that, but he'll be a little limited tonight. I feel like that ankle's going to heal up, and he'll be fine next week.
Mentioning Oscar, kind of just had to come in and take over. I don't know, hadn't really paid close attention if he's taken many snaps at center during the week. I believe maybe he played on the JV at center last year, but stepped in and did really pretty good job filling in for us.
He did, and his reps, he takes all of the scout team reps at center, so that's how I get his reps in at that level. It's not always our plays, but it is shotgun snaps. He takes a ton of those shotgun snaps as the scout team center. And under center, we haven't had any trouble with that, and Friday night didn't have any trouble with the snaps from under center. I think I let him take one gun snap. We were running quarterback draw. It looks better out of the gun, and he snapped that one over the head. But he does a good job of that in practice. But you put a kid on Friday night with the lights on and a crowd, and it's just a little more pressure. And we've worked on it all week. I feel a lot more comfortable now. If that was to happen, I feel like he can get that snap down.
All right. Well, we reached the end of the first segment here, First Financial Bank. Be sure to stop by if you have an opportunity. I want to thank everyone here for hosting us week in and week out, and I appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back to talk a little bit about Thursday night action and some information regarding the band and the cross-country teams. You're listening to the Cisco Morning Huddle on KATX Radio 97.7. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We were all leaving the field before 9 o'clock last night. Coach West, junior high and JV hosted the Hamilton Bulldogs last night. Pretty successful night overall.
It was. The clock didn't stop too many times last night.
It
they
did
had
not.
2 running football teams out there, and Hamilton, who is notorious for milking that clock and limiting possessions, and they do it at every level, and they were letting it milk down to about 1 second before every snap. So we did get out of there early last night, and of course we do a little bit of the same style. We will milk it down at times, and man, we got home quick enough to watch my favorite show last night. But it was good. Our 7th grade is getting better. They are undefeated in district, but they got another shutout last night. We love to see those defensive shutouts. That little group is not fast, but if they can prevent that big play, they play great defensively. If they can prevent that one fast running back, the quarterback breaking the ball, run on them, people don't move the ball very well on that group. And they won last night 30-0. I thought running back Jeremy Dotson had a good game. He broke loose, and he's a big kid. It's not, I wouldn't say extremely fast, but he looked a lot faster last night. I think he's getting there, and he's getting in shape. But I felt like that team really improved and is on the right track at least to win the district championship. The 8th grade got Orson Silva back. They won 20-6. Of course, he brings a lot of speed to that 8th grade and just depth. That's the mean 15. There's not many of them in that class, but it's fun to watch them. They get after it every Thursday, and they got them another big win, 20-6. Their only loss in district was to Coleman last week, and just very end of the game they got us. The JV, I moved 2 up this week. Simone Fuentes and Carson Tapp will play with us, and I'm really curious how that little group would react to having 2 of their leaders up on the varsity. And that Cecil Beasley stepped in at the fullback and middle linebacker position. Carson Tapp played unbelievable. He's a very physical kid. He flew around and had an extremely good game. Our quarterback, Case Gale, stepped up and had another great game running that midline. Adam Reynolds, he's one of my favorites, and I shouldn't even say that, favorites, but he is such a sweet kid, and watching him run down on kickoff is the biggest reason Adam is one of my favorites. I like to see kids that are unselfish, willing to get after special teams and make it very important to them, and just watch him on every kickoff sprint down the field and make plays is pretty special. We let him have a toss sweep in the 4th quarter against Hamilton, and He ran about 80 yards for a touchdown and didn't have it called back on a penalty. But man, he's a fun kid. You need to get to know Adam. He's a great kid. There's a bunch of them on that JV, but I love to see a kid hustles the way he does on special teams, and he takes it very personally. Just proud of how he's been playing, and I'm proud of that JV. They remain undefeated. They get a shutout last night, and they win 37-0.
Yeah, talking about shutouts, technically the 8th grade got a shutout on defense. They gave up, the only touchdown was off a fumble return, I believe it was.
That is correct, and probably, of course, our fullback's coming in and saying, "Hey, I didn't fumble that." I'm with him. I think he was down, but nevertheless, they got 6 points out of it. But they played very well defensively.
Looked like a really clean, on all levels, clean game. Just well executed all the way around, and really, to me, it seemed like everybody had everything in hand. At every level, they knew what to expect from the other offense and did a great job on defense last night. A couple other points before we take our next break that we need to make and say congratulations. The boys and girls cross country team, I believe it was, as a team, finished third at the district meet this last week, and they'll be running again here in a couple of weeks.
They will. They advanced. They'll be participating in Lubbock November the 2nd. The boys team was led by Jackson Witt. He's been winning. He won district, actually was first place. Also, part of his team was Jordan Longoria, Reese Carey, Colby Conring, and Tyler Adesso. And they've been having a great year, but they've really had to compete to get in. They had to run better than they have been to be able to advance. I was pretty proud of that little crew. The girls also got third. Shelby McKay, Diamond Charles, Ryan Dacus, Gloria Lara, and Shannon Soulsby had another good day. So it's good to see, our cross-country teams advance and represent Cisco, and that's one of those sports that you're getting up at 5:30 and meeting the cross-country coach in the morning and running before school even gets started. Of course, part of the boys team also is participating in football, and they are going through tons of conditioning, and Jackson is waking up on Saturday morning sore from the game before and still getting up and running. This is a tough group, both boys and girls, to be able to accomplish things they've accomplished this year. Pretty amazing.
You're talking about Jackson, he won the meet. I think on the girls' side, Diamond and Shelby both finished in the top 10. So just the overall great job out of both groups. They would have had individuals advance if the team didn't, but everybody gets to go down. I'm not sure. It may have been a while since everybody got to go for us. I can't remember.
I can't either, but it's sure a great accomplishment. We're proud of it.
Now, for the band. We just don't talk a whole lot about the band. They show up every week, and they do their work, too. They have advanced to the area. I think it's a little different with band. They have regional before area, but I think it's just the way they divide the zones up. And our Monte Lobo band has advanced to the area competition. That's tomorrow morning. They're getting ready to leave at 7, I think. They actually march at 4:30 in Amarillo. I believe it's at Vivint Stadium there in Amarillo. And then I'm thinking it's about a 2-hour waiting period to see whether or not we make it to the finals. If they do make it to the finals, it'll be sometime after 7 o'clock before they march.
Well, it'll be a long drive up and a long day, but it'll be a very rewarding one because we feel like our band's got a great opportunity to advance and stay. They received a 1 last week in Abilene. Mr. McAnally's got them going. He also has some great assistants. Miss McCullough's done a great job, and she's a rookie on board. And of course, we've got Mike Brady that has tons of experience. He could probably coach our football team as well. Those guys have done, and gals have done a wonderful job. We're so proud of our band.
Yeah, they're going to stay and put a little extra work in today after the pep rally, and we certainly want to wish them the best of luck tomorrow. I don't know that Cisco's ever had a band make it to the state finals, so that'd be really awesome if they were able to do that. So pray that happens. I know the kids have worked really hard, and as you said, Coach West, the director's put in a lot of hours working with all those kids, and we're proud of them. Time for us to take another break, and we'll come back in our third segment and wrap this thing up by talking about tonight's games. And again, thanks for joining us. We'll be back on KTX Radio in 2 minutes. Radio 97.7, thanks for listening in. Last segment of the broadcast right now, Coach West, tonight's game 3 of the district schedule. Talk about those Hamilton Bulldogs and what you guys are expecting on offense and defense.
Well, offensively, it is the same old Hamilton Bulldog team that you've seen in the past. They just have a little less speed and a little less depth. They're extremely good, and I say it every year, they're very good at milking that clock and limiting possessions. They're good at getting 3.3 yards. They'll take a chance and go for it, on 4th down, especially tonight with us. So we're under a lot of pressure to have to stop the 3.3 play. And sometimes the kids that we've had in the past don't understand that that's not very far, but that's all they need in their scheme of things to get things going. Last year we were limited to 5 total possessions in a varsity football game. We scored on 3 of them, we fumbled 1, and we knelt on the other in the 4th quarter. Those 5 possessions, that's all we had. That's all the opportunities in the entire game. And we won the game 21-14. So it's hard to get kids to understand that, although they may not score on their drive, they just took part of the quarter, if not the entire quarter, away from us. And those possessions of ours are so critical. We can't have a turnover or a penalty and have to punt it back to them when they take off the next quarter. So time of possession is extremely important. We know they're probably going to win that battle at times, and when we have the ball, we have to get into the end zone.
2 other big matchups in district tonight. Holly, they got a huge win last week against Ballinger on the road. They're going to host a Colorado City team that right now is 0-2 in district as they travel tonight. What are your thoughts on that matchup this evening?
In Holly, Texas, Holly's they've got it going a little bit. They're confident after their last week's win. And Colorado City has graduated their big kids up front. They're going to have a hard time stopping the fullback offense of Holly. Colorado City loves to throw the ball around, and they're really fairly good at that. But I feel like the strongest part of Holly's defense is their secondary. Holly is going to win this game tonight. Colorado City has lost their 2 athletes that I feel like could kind of change the game for them, and they will not be playing tonight. Their running back and probably their best receiver both have injuries, and I just feel like Holly's going to find a way tonight at their place.
I think Holly, with that big fullback they have, they have shown the ability to be able to be kind of like a Hamilton. They'll get their yardage and run the clock out at the same time. So it'll be tough for Colorado City not to stop that. On the other hand, in the other game, you have Coleman, who's looking to try to bounce back from their loss to you guys last week. And they're taking on a Ballinger squad that kind of finds themselves in the same hole. Not quite as bad as what Colorado City's in, but after losing last week, they're struggling a little bit too.
Yeah, and I think playing in Coleman is going to give Coleman quite an advantage. They are faster than Ballinger, and I feel like that speed will prevail tonight.
I haven't seen, and I don't know if you've seen Ballinger on film size-wise, or is Coleman going to be okay there?
Ballinger has graduated their size as well, and watching them on video yesterday was the first time I was able to see Ballinger play. They are not as big and physical as they were last year. They are going to match up. Coleman's going to match up with them in that area where they were unable to match up with us. I feel like they'll match up and prevail up front with Ballinger.
All right, I believe you were 2-0 last week on these pick'ems, so Hamilton didn't pull off as big a win as you said they were going to, but they still managed to get the win. So that's good news for them, and good news again for the locals last week with the big win. Looking to move to 3-0 in district tonight on the road at Hamilton. We hope you'll join us. Pre-game starts at 7 o'clock on KWBY, KWBYradio.com, and kickoff is at 7:30 at Kukenfield in Hamilton, Texas. Thanks for being with us. I want to remind everyone that the Eastland Maverick Morning Huddle will be on next at First Financial Bank in downtown Eastland with the world famous Terry Slavens and Coach Brian Hewlett. Be sure to stay tuned for that at 10:30 on KETX 977. For myself, Lee Lewis, and for Coach West, and for Mr. Matthew Householder back in the studio. Signing off. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe this Halloween time of the year. Have a great one. Thanks.